Hey guys, today we are going to be talking about only creators and the influence that they are having on the younger generation of today. A bit about the gameplay. Starts off a little bit slow, but I get a victory royale, so you need to stay to the end and listen. But you also need to stay to the end because what we're going to be talking today is going to be spicy, if you know what I mean. So we're going to be talking about OnlyFans creators and how they have sort of manipulated the younger and the older generation to subscribing to their narrative and to their sort of way of life to put money in their pockets. Now, they've sort of mastered mainstream platforms as a gateway to their adult content. They create innocent content on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube that appeals to a younger audience, especially younger boys and younger girls too. The content often features trendy music, popular memes, and relatable topics, but with subtle adult undertones. You know, a show of the bum, a facial expression. Creators like Anna Paul, Camilla, Jellybean have all built massive followings on these platforms using a mix of comedy, lifestyle, and personal storytelling. But underneath, there's often a soft nudge towards their adult content that they use coded language like spicy site, censoring key parts in a way that invites curiosity and make strategic use of the linking bio. So basically what they're doing is they're intriguing you. They've become master marketeers to influence how you're thinking. Now, I'm not saying everyone gets it. A lot of the older audience will look straight through it. But the younger 18 to 21-year-old women, even potentially 16-year-olds, that they would fall prey to these sort of messages that they're sending across. It's creating a pipeline effect where young viewers, many of whom follow these creators for fashion, beauty, or funny content, are gradually introduced to more suggestive material. Eventually, they jump onto OnlyFans, and they just feel like they're supporting the creator, not that they're entering into a world of stuff. The lifestyle deception, another thing. Many creators have showcased an extremely glamorized lifestyle. Luxury apartments, designer clothes, exotic vacations, all explicitly attributing to their OnlyFans income. Anna Paul, massive creator, massive spicy creator in Australia, shares content that highlights her travel and spending freedom. She generally buys a lot of designer bags, goes on a lot of fancy holidays. Michaela Testa frequently posts about earnings and also vlogs and lifestyle and designer handbags and clothes and holidays. This builds a message that this could be your life too. And when younger people are dealing with job market uncertainty, cost of living pressures, or university debt, it can feel like a tempting shortcut to be able to go, oh, all I need to do is, talk about being sexy, or, maybe I show a bit of my shoulder when I make a video. Maybe if I make a spicy website, I can then have these handbags and these go on these cool holidays. But I mean, if we look deeper, and what obviously these creators are never showing is that what the side effects of it, really, you could say, emotional burnout, safety concerns, online harassment, unstable income, long-term consequences of having explicit content online. A lot of it gets leaked. If you have any sort of massive following, your content will be leaked, and once it is leaked, you will have it will be on the internet forever. Like, there's no taking it back. So That's where some of the smaller creators might have that sort of benefit where they're not in the public eye so often that their content gets leaked. But the bigger ones, most definitely. And if you're really big, like you get to a Sophie Rain or even like a Camilla, and you've got big, massive, ginormous teams behind you, you can. It's a catch-22 where they can just pay to have it removed from the internet. So there's a lot of negatives to it. Showing the reward and the risk, creators present a distorted version of reality to viewers who might not have the experience or maturity to unpack it. Young girls like 18 years old who should definitely not be showing this type of material online. They aren't adults. They aren't capable of dealing with this. They're not working for a company like those spicy hub content creators where you've got a company, as much as they might be exploiting them, they're also managing them and helping them and guiding them through it. So a lot of these girls that are just doing it at home, I'm sure there's boys doing it too. I mean, the male side of it isn't huge, but I'm sure there are young boys out there who see older boys doing it and also the same thing. Psychological manipulation. So the marketing playbook used by many OnlyF creators employs psychological tactics that younger audiences are especially susceptible to. This including manufacturing intimacy through DMs, personalized content, and the illusion of being seen or chosen by the creator. People the OnlyFans creators that go, I respond to every message. I respond in 5 minutes. That's not even them talking. They've paid a company to talk on. It's probably some fat Indian guy replying to your message. Creators like Sophie Rain and Jellybean often craft accessible, low-key personas, sort of like the girl next door, young trouble. You're going to get in trouble if you look, but you have to look, sort of thing, who feel more relatable than traditional celebrities. They're not positioned as distant stars, but as authentic and ordinary people who happen to be online. These parasocial relationships blur the line between entertainment and connection. When creators combine that with scarcity tactics, last chance, VIP, subscriber only, it triggers the same psychological mechanisms as gambling or freemium mobile games, Clash Royale, Clash of Clans. This kind of marketing isn't inherently evil, but when it's aimed at young, emotionally developing audience, the impact can be significant. Anna Paul has recently been absolutely destroyed online because she has her makeup or skincare brand that she used to, if you subscribe to my OF within the next 24 hours, you'll get this or you'll get that. So she's really been hammering down on the younger, because she'd have younger girls like 16. I don't find her that attractive, but there's people who find her attractive and look at her lifestyle and go, that's amazing. I wish I could do that. So they're really screwing over the younger generation. I tell you what, the current digital ecosystem. So age verification. The current digital ecosystem makes age verification almost completely ineffective. The Australian government's trying to do something to this effect of controlling your internet usage. With this sort of stuff, I can see it as a good thing. Everything else I can't. While OF technically requires ID verification for both the creators and subscribers, the marketing funnel starts on platforms that rely on self-reported age and weak enforcement. So TikTok, you have to be X age 13 to be on TikTok, but man, you could be a 10-year-old on TikTok and they would never know. So it's a bit hard. TikTok and Instagram in particular have massive underage audiences. Creators like Camilla and Michaela Tester, who market on these platforms daily, operate within platform rules, but their content often rides the line of what would have been considered adult content just a few years ago. we have noticed a lot of sex sells, right? And these platforms, like Instagram knows that sex sells. Like there's on my Instagram, there's literally been girls' private parts and boobies on full display, and I report it, and Instagram just don't care. They know that that's going to bring in more people, that's going to bring in more likes and subscribers, and people are going to tell their friends that, the 15-year-old kid is going to tell his friend, oh, go on this website and search up this person and you'll get to see her private parts. Like, they know it brings more money in for them. So they don't really, there's no incentive for Instagram to remove these type of tactics that these creators are using to promote their stuff. As a result, young viewers are exposed to explicit or highly suggestive content without even needing access to OF. The responsibility is blurred, platforms don't enforce the age strictly, and parents don't know what's going on. I mean, we can't really blame the parents, but also parents shouldn't be giving their kids access to these platforms. I know for myself, if I have kids one day, they would be at least 18 years old before they're getting an Instagram or something like that, or I'm monitoring the hell out of it, because it can destroy the development of younger kids, and the big corporations aren't going to do anything about it. It comes down to the parents. The impact on developing identities. Now, the influence extends beyond content. It shapes how young people understand identity, relationships, and values. These are formative years where people learn what success looks like, what intimacy means, and how self-worth is measured. When creators link personal value to attention, physical appearance, and sexual availability, and tie that to financial freedom, it creates a warped picture of what success is. Increasingly, young people are saying they want to be creators, not because they love making videos or building an audience, but because they see it as a way to get rich quickly. And this is part of the problem. They see the money, they see the success, they see these creators manipulating people, and they don't understand what is happening. They don't know what is going on. They're not old enough. They just see, oh, this person is doing this, I want to do this, I want what they have, and it sort of goes against what they may have thought was right originally. But now they just see it as, oh, I can get rich, I'm going to get rich. And I'm going to do anything I can to get rich. And it's not really fair to that child or that parent that may have to suffer the consequence. I'm not saying suffer in a bad way, but that parent who's going to have to deal with the mental health that child is going to have to go through, because what if they don't get to that success? What if they don't happen to get to that point? So there's a lot that goes on. It's easy to blame individual creators, but the issue is much broader. Platforms like TikTok and Instagram continue to profit from high engagement, borderline content, and minimal safeguards. Parents are always aware of what content is reaching their kids. Parents aren't always aware of what content is reaching their kids, and schools often haven't updated their media literacy programs in years. Even OF has a split identity, publicly distancing itself from adult content while continuing to rely on it to drive growth. Now, OnlyFans could also be a problem here. Like, I'm not saying 100%, but OnlyFans, you don't really see them advertising themselves as a adult content website, or you don't really see them advertising themselves as, a adult content platform. Like, they are a way to connect with creators on ways that aren't possible in other platforms. Brilliant marketing, but OnlyFans is a massive contributor of what's going on, and they have zero responsibility, but they're raking in the cash, so who cares at the end of the day, right? Rather than highlighting problems, constructive solutions. Other than problems that I've been talking about today, what can we do? What can be done? That starts with strong media literacy. Young people need tools to identify manipulation tactics, understand parasocial dynamics, and navigate online influence critically. Schools need to update how they teach this stuff. Parents need accessible resources and on how these platforms work and what warning signs to look for. Platforms need to be held accountable for age enforcement, and creators should be encouraged to keep adult content away from all ages platforms. Most importantly, we need to have a real conversation with young people, not fear-mongering lectures, but honest, open talks about what they're seeing online, how it makes them feel, and how to separate what's real from what's being sold to them. Now, what are we talking about here? So overall, I've got some notes here about conclusion, but we're not going to go into that. We're going to talk about it. So the Sophie Rains, the Camillas, the Anna Pauls, the what's her name? That young looking girl, Jellybean. Jellybean's brand is advertised at older males. She buys Lambos, sports cars, she destroys things, she does content with typical manly content, and she's appealing to an older male audience. I don't mind Jellybean as an OF creator. I'm not interested in any of her content, but how she approaches her brand, it's older people. She's smart. She knows older people have more money. So she's doing it, in my opinion, a really nice way. However, the other creators like your Sophies and your Camillas and your Annas and your Michaelas and basically everybody else that appeals to a younger audience where women are going to be greatly affected by this long term, because they're not really providing any sort of role playing. They're not really providing any sort of role modeling. All right, they're not. Girls look at them and they go, "Oh, they're beautiful," and "Oh my God, they're rich," and "Oh my God, they're so sexy," and they don't understand that it's all a ploy to be able to. It's all a ploy to be able to get them to spend money on whatever it is that they are portraying. So that's it. That's a long video. I think OnlyFans creators are ruining the younger generation 100%. And I think there needs to be more responsibility put into the platforms, and that they need to take it seriously. Not that women can post whatever they want, full-on nudity on these platforms and get away with it, and there's a robot trying to detect whether it's nudity or not. But anyway, that is it. That is a long video. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Leave a like, subscribe, and let me know if there's anything specifically you want me to talk about. And I hope you have a good day. Bye.